Welcome to today's deep dive. We're really glad you're here with us. We have a fantastic source to explore today.
We really do. It's a rich piece of material.
Yeah, it's an excerpt from a story called Seven Young Cats and the Black Cat, Episode 3, The Hunt in the Forest.
And right off the bat, I mean, on the surface, this just reads like a narrative about animals trying to navigate a really harsh winter.
Right, just trying to find food in the snow. But the mission of our deep dive today is to unpack what is actually a remarkably complex masterclass in strategy.
Strategy and vulnerability, too.
Exactly. We're going to look at the survival mechanics woven into this scenario, because there are some incredible insights hidden in just the pure cause and effect of the natural world.
Yeah, and it is worth considering why fables or these animal narratives serve as such effective models for strategic analysis in the first place.
Oh, absolutely. Why do you think that is?
Well, when you strip away the complexities of human systems, so things like technology or currency or shifting societal expectations.
All the noise, basically.
Exactly all the noise. When you remove that, you are left with the fundamental mechanics of problem solving.
The raw data.
Right. A group of wild animals navigating a resource-scarce environment provides this incredibly clean ecosystem to observe group dynamics.
Because the stakes are literal survival.
Literally life or death. We get to see environmental pressures forcing adaptation in real time. It provides a mirror for our own complex challenges.
It really does. It highlights how unexpected disruptions require an immediate calculated rethinking of your established approaches.
Yeah, you can't just keep doing what isn't working when you're starving in a forest.
Which brings us to the setting. I want to paint the picture for you listening. It is a freezing cold winter day in the forest. Food is incredibly hard to find.
The scarcity is at its peak.
Yeah, and we follow these 7 young, very hungry wildcats, and they recognize a basic mathematical reality right away.
Their individual chances of securing calories are just too low.
Right. So they make the calculated decision to team up, they consolidate their efforts, and decide they must hunt as a single unit to survive.
That structural purity really makes the decisions in this narrative stand out.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because they specifically target a pheasant, which seems like a weird choice.
It does seem counterintuitive at first.
Yeah, I mean, targeting a bird seems like a tactical error for a group of ground predators who don't have the element of surprise from above.
Right. Cats hunting pheasants inherently possess a vertical disadvantage.
Unless, of course, they're operating with an understanding of a very specific temporary vulnerability in that prey.
And that is exactly what's happening. They are operating with precise environmental awareness.
Because of the winter weather.
Yes. The pheasants are completely compromised by the climate. In freezing temperatures, a pheasant's wings actually become heavy and stiff.
Which fundamentally alters their flight mechanics.
Exactly. They lose their primary defensive advantage, which is that rapid vertical acceleration. They can't just shoot up into the trees.
So the cats aren't just blindly hunting a bird.
No, they are exploiting a temporary physiological deficit caused by the weather.
They are literally weaponizing the weather against this specific target.
It's brilliant. They understand that the freezing winter, the very thing causing their own starvation, is simultaneously creating a tactical opportunity.
It's a ruthless calculation of energy expenditure versus probability of success.
Yeah, they bypass targets that might retain full mobility in the cold and focus entirely on the one whose defenses are hampered by the temperature.
Which leads right into the stalking phase.
Right.
The tension here is incredible.
The environment completely dictates their strategy here, too.
Right. The cats quietly climb a hill into a pine forest, and they use the terrain perfectly.
They're hiding among the brown bushes and the fallen leaves under these tall pine trees.
But the terrain only offers an advantage if it's matched with absolute discipline.
Oh, totally. Moving slowly and silently through dry brush when you are absolutely starving, that requires a massive suppression of instinct.
Because the biological imperative when you're that hungry is to rush right.
Exactly. You want to close the distance quickly before the opportunity vanishes.
But they don't.
No suppressing that panic to move methodically to ensure not a single twig snaps. It demonstrates a really high level of executive function within this group.
Because one single misstep and the whole thing is ruined.
A single snapped twig compromises the entire caloric investment.
But their discipline holds. They spot 2 pheasants completely unaware searching for seeds in the snow.
The cats are so patient, moving so slowly and carefully that no animal can hear them.
And the pheasants are focused entirely on their own caloric needs. looking down at the snow instead of scanning the perimeter.
A fatal mistake.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The transition from stalking to the ambush itself is not some chaotic scramble.
Far from it. The group dynamic is fascinating here. They operate under a designated leader.
The cat with the tiger stripes.
Yes, the striped cat takes the point position, slowly stepping forward while the other 6 follow quietly in this silent procession.
They are functioning as a highly coordinated unit, not just a loose collection of hungry animals.
And that structural hierarchy is what prevents a premature engagement.
Because if 7 independent predators just rush a target,
They trigger the prey's escape response way too early. They'd break cover unevenly.
right, by filtering their movement through a single point of leadership, they maintain the integrity of the ambush.
And when they finally reach that critical distance, the execution relies on flawless timing.
It's a totally synchronized strike.
The striped cat suddenly jumps, and at the exact same moment, the other 6 cats jump too.
They don't give the pheasants time to process sequential threats. By arriving at the exact same fraction of a second, they just overwhelm them.
The element of surprise is absolute.
But the outcome is split. The pheasants are shocked. The female reacts with just enough speed to launch into the sky and escape.
But the male does not. He is grounded and captured by the group.
What's fascinating here is the underlying reason for the male's failure to escape.
Yeah, it wasn't merely a matter of bad positioning or a slower reaction time.
It's a specific physical detail mentioned in the text.
The male pheasant possessed a long tail with beautiful, intricate feathers.
And because of that heavy tail, he cannot fly quickly.
That heavy ornamentation physically anchored him. His beauty, the very characteristic that likely defined his biological success and status.
Literally becomes his fatal flaw.
Exactly. It's the ultimate trap of ornamentation.
A physical trait that is a huge advantage in a safe, low-threat environment becomes a lethal liability in a high-stress scenario.
Compounded by the stiffening effect of the freezing temperatures on his wings. He just couldn't achieve the necessary lift.
His defining asset is the direct mechanism of his downfall.
It perfectly illustrates how strengths are entirely contextual. In a mating display, that tail is an unparalleled asset. Against an organized threat, it is an anchor.
So the cats capitalize on this. They secure the calories necessary for their collective survival.
A huge win for the group.
They drag their hard-earned prey under a pine tree to eat. The operational objective seems complete.
The threat of starvation is temporarily mitigated.
But the environment is rarely static. Just as they are about to enjoy the meal, a sudden loud hiss echoes out.
A massive disruption.
A big black cat appears from between the pine trees.
This introduces a completely new variable right at the moment of reward.
The text uses a very specific, evocative comparison here that we have to highlight. It says the black cat moves quietly like a hyena before hissing loudly.
That hyena comparison is striking. It immediately shifts the perception of the black cat from a fellow hunter to a scavenger.
Or more accurately, a practitioner of kleptoparasitism.
Exactly. Stealing the hard-earned kill of another predator. It waits for the younger cats to expend all the energy, take all the risks,
Complete the complex mechanics of the hunt.
and then it just steps in to claim the dividend.
The power dynamic flips instantly. The young cats are terrified and jump back.
They transition from apex predators executing a coordinated ambush to vulnerable targets facing an asymmetrical threat.
And the black cat doesn't even engage in a massive physical brawl.
It doesn't need to. Fighting carries an inherent risk of injury even against smaller adversaries.
So it just relies purely on size and intimidation.
Posture and acoustic intimidation. That loud hiss paralyzes the younger cats.
It just pushes them away and brazenly eats the pheasant meat all by itself. It claims the space without expending any caloric energy.
It's a masterclass in asymmetrical dominance.
It's so frustrating to even read. You really feel for them. The 7 young cats can only stand there and watch sadly.
The psychological toll of executing a perfect strategy, enduring the freezing conditions suppressing their hunger.
Only to be marginalized right at the finish line. It's profound.
And the black cat just takes its time. When it finally slowly walks away into the forest, only small bones and a tiny bit of meat are left.
The environment just delivered a brutal lesson in resource security.
Catching the prey is only half the equation. Retaining it is the other half.
So the young cats gather around and share the tiny leftover pieces. The immediate crisis of hunger is barely addressed.
But this is the critical juncture in any strategic endeavor. When an overwhelming external force dismantles your successful operation, your response dictates your future.
And instead of just feeling defeated, they take action. They don't just endure the failure.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we are witnessing the mechanics of rapid evolutionary strategy right here.
They hold a post-incident debrief. They talk together to form a new strategy.
They're actively analyzing the flaw in their operational pipeline.
Let's break down the actual plan they form because the specific quotes are great. The striped cat, the designated leader, initiates it,
By stating simply, we need a plan.
acknowledging a fundamental paradigm shift.
The previous strategy of hunting, catching, and eating in the open is now obsolete. A new permanent variable is in the ecosystem.
Then another cat identifies the ongoing risk. Quote, if we hunt again, the black cat might steal our food again.
That is an essential step in risk management. They aren't treating the theft as a localized anomaly or just bad luck.
Right, they are permanently integrating the black cat into their risk profile.
Forecasting future threats based on this new data point.
Once the risk is defined, they move to mitigate it. Another cat offers a logistical solution. Quote, we must find a safe place to eat our food.
The objective expands from merely securing the resource to ensuring its safe extraction and consumption.
The territory has to be evaluated completely differently now.
Not just for hunting cover, but for defensive consumption zones.
And then the smallest cat as a critical operational tweak. Quote, and we must eat quickly.
A safe place is only safe for a limited duration.
Right. By minimizing the time spent consuming, they reduce their window of exposure.
Time becomes as critical a resource as the food itself. The longer they linger, the higher the probability the larger predator tracks them.
So what does this all mean? The cats nod at each other, they reach a consensus.
They are ready for next time. They didn't just survive, they learned.
They transformed a single-phase operation, just catching the food, into a multi-phase, highly defensive supply chain.
Catch the food, transport it to a secure location, and minimize consumption time.
It's incredible.
They synthesized a massive amount of environmental data into a functional strategy.
Starting with leveraging the cold weather against the pheasant.
Exactly. They executed a disciplined, synchronized ambush. And when that success was hijacked by a superior force utilizing intimidation.
Suffering a devastating theft by a bigger predator.
That they didn't fracture, they used the failure to iterate. They closed the vulnerabilities in their process.
Which brings us to you listening.
This raises an important question. How do we react when someone or something larger swoops in and steals the reward of our hard work?
It happens in business, it happens in life all the time.
Exactly. Do you just accept the loss as an inherent unfairness of the environment and give up?
Or do you conduct the debrief? Do you analyze the exact point of failure and find a safe place and eat faster next time?
Do you build those constraints into the next iteration of your plan?
It's a powerful framework, but we have to remind you the story isn't finished. The environment demands constant recalibration.
The black cat hasn't vanished.
No, it is still somewhere out there in that cold winter forest. The external threat remains fully operational.
The young cats have simply evolved their systems to operate within its shadow.
So before we go, we want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over on your own.
A shift in perspective on the whole event.
What if the arrival of that terrifying black cat, while seemingly a tragic loss of a meal in the short term, is actually the exact catalyst these 7 young cats needed?
It's a fascinating way to look at it.
Without that theft, they were just a group of hungry animals who managed to coordinate one successful ambush.
But because of it, they are forced to evolve.
Exactly. The black cat exposed the fatal flaw in their resource security, and because of that, they were forced into a higher order of operational thinking.
They became a highly disciplined tactical unit.
The greatest adversary in their environment was ultimately the exact catalyst required for their evolution.
Sometimes the biggest threats create the strongest systems.
They really do. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope you found the strategic mechanics of this narrative as compelling as we did. We'll catch you next time.